Alright, so in the previous video, we created the profiles route so you could view other people's profiles. But in this video, which is going to be the last video, we're going to create the settings page for the actual application. Hold on just 1 second. I am offering free coaching to those of you who need help in JavaScript development, Flutter development, and most front-end or full-stack JavaScript frameworks. If you're not opposed to receiving some help, message me through Discord at 8dang. I'll be sure to include my tag below, but remember, I might not be able to help with everything, but I'll try my best. But with that out of the way, let's get back into the video. And so the first thing we're going to do is open up the terminal and run npm run dev. And then we're going to open up a new terminal instance, and inside of there, we're going to open up the PocketBase folder and then run /PocketBase serve. So then we could close these terminals, and then in the app folder, we could create a new folder called settings. And then we could create a new file here called pluspage.svelte. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is create a module script so that we could export the actual auth model key so that the other child components can have access to the auth model. So then we're going to actually import the necessary components, and then we're going to export that data getting access to the load function, which we're going to create later in this video. And then we're going to set the context for the child components for the auth model key, and then we're going to set the data to the auth model that we're going to get passed down from the data. So then we're going to create this file head, and we're going to title this page the settings. And then we're going to create an article containing an account settings and a container that contains 2 components, the profile and the security component. And then we're going to style each of these article and the right components so that they're vertically aligned. And then we're going to do a media query saying that if the width of the screen is greater than 700 pixels, we're going to say that the article has a display of flex direction of row, which means that it's horizontally aligned, and that the right has an actual minimum width. So we can save this. By the way, you can ignore these errors right here. We're going to create these components in this video, but we're going to create it later on. So then in the settings page, in the settings folder, let's create a new file called account settings.svelte. So then we're going to create a script with the language property set to TS, and then we're going to import all the necessary things. And you can see that we're importing get context from Svelte, and then we're getting access to the auth model from the parent component, which is going to be right here, the page.svelte file. The parent component sets the context with the auth model key that we're importing, and then we're getting the context. A bio tag that's going to reference the auth model's bio. And then we're going to create a section with the class of account settings that's going to contain a header, and then it's going to contain some form actions. The first one is going to be the name, and obviously it's just going to be an input, and the default value is just going to be the name that's already on the user. Then the next one is going to be the email, so the user can change the email using this form. And then right here, obviously there's going to be a type of email in the input, and the default value is going to be the email from the auth model. And then we're going to create one last one called the bio, so we could change the bio of the user right here. And then it's going to have form inputs right here. And in this input, we're going to add some extra logic saying that we're going to bind the value of this input to the bio variable that we created right here. So the default value is already the bio of the user. So then we're going to listen for the on input, and we're going to make sure that the input that the input's length isn't greater than 150 characters. Then right here, we're just going to create a paragraph tag that just displays the length of the bio. And then we're going to create a button that just submits this form. Then we're going to style the component, styling first the headers and the divider. Then we're going to style the section, the form. And by the way, if you're having trouble keeping up, you can always find the GitHub link in the description and copy the code from there. Then we're going to also style the inputs, the form inputs, so that it is horizontally aligned, and also the form.bio is going to be vertically aligned, and then the input for the form bio is going to be special. And obviously the label is going to have the actual styles that the input has by default, but you'll see in a little bit how that looks like. So then right here, we're going to style the form.bio, the paragraph right here that displays the amount of characters inside the form, and that's it. Now we could close this file. So in the settings folder, we're going to create a new file called change profile picture.svelte. So at first, we're going to create a script tag with the language property set to TS, and then we're going to import the necessary components, get access to the auth model, and also create an event dispatcher so that the parent component of this component can actually listen to the events from this component. So we're going to get access to a file list, which you'll see in a second why this is important. So we're going to create a div that takes up the full length of the screen, and whenever it pops up over the screen, it's going to have a transition of fade. So then, right here, we're going to have a section with the onClick set to stop propagation so that this div doesn't get triggered, this onClick property doesn't get triggered when you click on this section. So then we're going to create a header in the section saying that we want to change your profile picture if you open up this section. So we're obviously going to have an icon that allows us to close this modal, and then a form with the enc type set to multipart / form data so that we can actually send pictures back and forth from the server. So then we're going to create a label, and then it's going to be upload photo. This label is just going to be for the input, which is right here, but it's going to be hidden. So then right here, we're going to create a file list. So if the files from this input are not null, we're going to display a variable. We're going to display a button that says confirm or cancel. The cancel is just going to close this modal, but this confirm is going to submit the form and redirect us back. And then if the user has a photo but the file list hasn't been uploaded, we're going to have a form that allows them to remove their current profile picture. So then we're going to style this component saying that the div is going to be absolutely positioned on the screen, and it's going to take up the full width and height of the screen. So then we're going to create this section so that it actually stands out from the div, and we're going to have the header so that it has a display of flex, the header, the icon, the form, obviously aligned vertically, the label, and also the hide property, the input, and the input is going to have a display of none because the label is going to be the thing that we actually need to press. So we can close this file. So I'm going to create a new file inside the settings folder called profile.svelte. So I'm going to create a script tag with a language property set to TS. We're going to import everything. We're going to get access to the auth model. And then we're going to create a local variable that is going to hold the context to see if this change profile picture component is going to be displayed on the screen or not. So we're going to check to see if the PB store is actually not undefined. And then we're going to create a section with the header profile. And then if the user has a photo, we're going to display it. Or if not, we're just going to display a default icon. So then we're going to display the name of the user right next to the profile photo. And then right here, we're going to allow them to change their profile photo with this button. And if this button allows them to open the modal to change their profile picture, and if they are changing their profile picture, we're going to display the change profile picture right here. So then we're going to style this component saying that the H1 is going to have a font size of 24 pixels, the section, obviously, and the profile right here, and the profile content, the image, obviously styled custom, and the iconify icon. We're going to have the name set to bold, and then we're going to save, and then we can close this file right now. And then we can create another file inside the settings page called security.svelte. So we're going to create a script tag. Then we're going to import enhance from $app/form to enhance our forms, obviously. And then we're going to create a section with the header set to security. And we're going to have two forms, one to log out and one to delete our account forever. So then we're going to create a style property. And then we're going to style the headers and the divider. And then we're going to style the section. And then we're going to style the form. So now we can close this file. And inside the settings folder, we create a new file called pluspage.server.ts. So then we're going to import the necessary modules. We're going to create a load function and get access to the local so we get access to the PocketBase object. And then we're going to check to see if the user is actually valid and logged in. And if they're not, we're going to redirect them to the login page. But if they are, we're just going to return the auth model from the load function. So then we're going to create the form actions right here. And then the first action we're going to create is the logout action. So I'm going to check to see if the user is actually logged in. And if they're not, we're going to redirect them to the login page. And then we're going to create a try catch block, which we're going to have the logic inside the try block. And if anything throws, we're going to catch the errors inside the catch block. So then the only thing we're going to do is just clear the all store. And then if there are any errors, we're going to specify to say that the error is from the logout. And if the error is not the instance of error, so if the error is some unambiguous object, we're just going to have a default message. And then we're going to throw a redirect if everything goes good. And if everything goes according to plan, the user will be logged out. So we redirect them to the auth page. So then right here, we're going to create another form where, just like before, we're going to check to see if the user actually logged in. And we're going to check to see if they have the actual form data. So we're going to get the photo from the form data, and we're going to validate the form data right here. and we're going to upload, and then we're going to update the user record right here. And then we're going to specify to say that the errors, if there are any, come from the change profile photo. And in here, and we're going to have one thing different from the logout page, which is that we're going to redirect them to the settings page instead of the auth page. So then we're going to create another one, which is very similar. All these functions are very similar in the case that we validate to see if the user logged in. We do the logic inside the try block. We specify the errors, and then we redirect them back to the settings page or the auth page. But in here, all we're doing is just removing the photo from the PocketBase user record. So in here, we're going to create another name. By the way, if you're looking, and same thing here, I'm just repeating myself a lot, but the only interesting thing about this action is that we're going to validate the actual form data, and then we're going to have a specific action, but everything else is the same. Same thing here, to change email, we're going to validate, and we're going to update. And obviously, all of these have their specific errors. You can always find the code in the GitHub link in the description. And right here, change bio, same thing as before. And here, delete account. And delete account is actually pretty similar to the logout function in just the fact that we're deleting the account first before clearing the auth store. And here we're also going to redirect them to the auth page so they can log into a new user or create a new account. So now we can save this. And then we can open up the terminal and open up the local. So then right here, we're going to go to create an account. We're going to log into our account that we created in the previous video, or if you want, you could create an account always. So right here, once you have this, you go to the settings page, and now let's see how it works. So the first thing we're going to do is change the name to test. We're going to do it to new test. We're going to update name, and you see that it works. And now let's update our email and say test@email.com. And now to see the changed email, we're going to have to go to the admin UI and log in. And inside the users, you see that our email is changed. So right here in the bio, you could put whatever text you want. And you could go to the profile page right here, and you can see that our bio is displayed like that. So now we could go back here and we could upload a photo for the profile picture. So then once we have a picture uploaded, we can confirm or cancel. So let's confirm, and you see that we have the picture uploaded. Now we could remove the current picture and we're back to square one. So in the security, we could either log out or delete account, but let's first log out and let's log in with the new email that we put. So it's going to be test@email.com, test. So let's go to settings and let's delete our account. So right here, if we want to delete the account, we always have to delete all of our posts. So we have to delete this post first, and we could go to settings, and now we could actually delete the account. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the series. Let me know what you think about this fast-paced content. Let me know if I should slow down in future videos. But as always, leave a like down below, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.